Hey guys, what's up? It's KraDeNine, and today we're going to be talking about player housing in Final Fantasy XIV because it is a pretty important topic to discuss, whether it be the current, the past, or the future of it, and I want to give my 2 cents on what Square Enix can hopefully do better to improve the system because it has a lot of flaws. But there is also a lot of benefits to housing as well, it's not only all negative. So let's start the video, but before that, really quickly, do make sure you like, comment, subscribe, let me know how you enjoyed the video and if you have a house in Final Fantasy XIV, and if not, do you want one or do you not really care as much? And with that, let's quickly talk about what player housing is. It is your own little space, your own little plot in a ward, whether it be in Limsa Lominsa, Gridania, Ul'dah, or Kugane. Soon to be Ishgard as well in 6.1, which is the first major patch after the release of Endwalker. With that, you can pretty much just kind of like, what's a good way to decorate the exterior, decorate the interior, and it's your, like I said, it's literally your space. Everything of the house is yours, and it's cool to have that. I personally love the fact that in an MMO, there is a map dedicated to a plot that I own. It's really simple, it's really small of a thing, but it gives me joy, I'll be honest with you. Having a house, for me personally, gives me a lot of joy knowing that, like, this is mine, right? Like, realistically, it's not mine, it's just Square Enix's at the end, but it's nice to be like, well, I decorated this house. I decorated the exterior. I live in this spot in the game. It's nice. I really like that. It's such a cool and, like, it's a feels good type of thing, and I like that kind of stuff. Now, a brief history of housing before we get to where we are today. Free companies were the only ones who were able to buy housing back in Realm Reborn. After a while, they did add some other stuff like rooms to the free companies because people weren't, not everyone was going to make a free company just for a house. They did release player housing a couple patches after that, which then resulted in, personal houses. So if you weren't a free company leader, if you were just your own entity like I am, and you just want to buy a house for yourself, you can, go ahead. At that time, housing was very expensive. It wasn't as cheap as it is now, and it wasn't as accessible given the fact that in order to make gil, you would be grinding for days on end. It was difficult. It was very hard. So not everyone can afford one. There was a clause essentially where if you were a free company, you could buy multiple houses. There was nothing restricting you from buying 4, 5, 6 houses in a ward. The downside was that those houses are grandfathered in now. So the person with 6 free company houses still owns all 6 of them because that's how the game functioned back then. The game no longer allows that. It's one private house and one free company house. I believe it's per server. So there's that, right? It's not restricting, like if you have a Cactuar or a Sargatana's house, congrats, you have 2, I guess. Moving on from that, back in Heaven's Ward, they released apartments because housing has always been finite. Not everyone can get one, not everyone will have the availability to get one because there's not enough in the game. So their method to kind of circumvent this was apartments. And that doesn't help a lot of issues because something like gardening is a lock to having a house or being in a free company that's giving you housing permissions. So you weren't really getting a lot of options for gardening, which again is a whole system in the game that probably like 90% of the player base has never and will never experience potentially. It's looking like we are getting a gardening area in Endwalker with Island Sanctuary. I don't know if it is, we don't fully know because we don't have all the details, but to me, it's looking like a gardening area, maybe some kind of like chocobo raising area as well. We'll see how it goes, we'll find out more information as we get close to Endwalker, but as of the current day, if you don't have a plot for yourself, or if you don't have a free company plot with a with the permissions to garden, you're not getting this whole mechanic. Gardening doesn't exist for you. That's it, and that kind of sucks. It should have just been a feature in the Botanist where it's like it's a solo instance area where you can plant your own stuff, but they didn't go with that, which again kind of sucks. Following that, they did increase the number of plots we were getting as expansions kept going on. They introduced Shirogane, which is Kugane's housing district in Stormblood, which is really cool. But again, we've reached the point in the game where there's a big population boom, especially with all the WoW refugees and other MMOs as well, or people just taking an interest in the game. And the other problem would be is that we just don't have enough housing. It's a finite number. So I believe based on what I saw, we have 24 wards. Each ward contains 60 plots. As of current, if I'm not mistaken, let me just get my calculator up really quickly because I'm not good at mental math like that. So 24 wards, 60 plots each times 4 districts. There's 5760 plots available, right? 5,760. That's not a large number for the amount of people playing, the amount of free companies available, because you have to split it off, right? There's only so many free companies, there's only so many players, and like, who's going to get the housing? And that really sucks. They do have a feature that basically will dismantle your property and reclaim it back to the servers if you're not active in the house for 45 days. You can be offline for 44 days, log on to the 45th, get in your house, boom, you saved your house. You could even be playing for 45 days but never going to your house. That house will still get, removed. And Square Enix does send you emails in advance being like, hey, your house is about to disappear. Go log in and go into your house. So they give you some kind of warning. But this keeps going back to there's just not enough housing. And it really sucks because the only 3 ways you can get a house is number 1, if it's a brand new ward. It's a fresh patch. The wards came out. You go in, you click the placard. And that's it. That's your house. You just go click yours. This only happens like 3 times. It's only happened 3 times, I believe, in the entirety of Final Fantasy XIV. The most recent one was October 2020, which they increased. I think it was 3 wards per zone, which is something. Don't get me wrong, but that's not enough because there's still more people. On top of that, the other way to do it is by if a house got reclaimed by the server, so the 45 days have passed by, the house becomes an available plot. Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean you go into the placard, click it, and it's yours. You have to be clicking on an invisible timer to where that house becomes public. So that house, when it gets reclaimed, doesn't become available instantly. There's an invisible clock that is not visible in the game. There's no way to find out what this invisible timer is. There's theories on like a golden time period and all that. But on average, you're waiting about 18 hours after that plot becomes open to hopefully get it. And you're not going to be the only one clicking there for that amount of time to hopefully get the house. Other people will come by and try to get that house as well. And you can see where the problem is here because like you're essentially clicking to hopefully get something for hours on end. You lose a day clicking. That's where the term housing savage has come from. And that really sucks. That shouldn't be a thing in the game. There should be a period where it's like you click the sign, it's like, oh, this house will be available between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or something, right? Give it like a 1-hour window and like that's fair, right? You'll probably get more people, but no one's wasting their entire day. Square Enix did say they're going to announce a lottery system, and they're also going to be announcing player housing and free company housing separately in Endwalker for Ishgard. I'm excited to see it, but I'm hoping that they don't just keep the 23 wards we have currently. I understand that Square Enix is suffering with computer part issues and they need more servers, but I'm really hoping, and again, this isn't a major point in comparison to the release of Endwalker, because this will be in 6.1, so we're already past the initial release, that they add maybe like 16 new wards to each zone, giving it a total of about 40. I think that will solve the issue temporarily for a good period of time. You'll have an excess of housing versus what you have available in terms of the player base. That's my personal opinion of it. I don't know how everyone would feel about that, but I do feel like it's okay to have an excess amount of housing, because the people who want the house can just go onto the placard, click it, and that's it. You don't need to worry about just clicking for 18 hours. I'd rather see empty wards rather than see people standing by one house clicking for 18 hours. It just doesn't seem fair. And I do feel for the people who have done that, but you can't be like, well, because I did it, everyone else should do it. That's not the good mentality to have. Because I've seen people bring this up where it's like, well, I had to do it and I did it. It wasn't so bad. It's like, yeah, maybe not for you, but not everyone has 18 hours to click on a placard. It's just not fair. And the other problem I have is that there's not enough larges. and there's not enough mediums in the game. Now, again, housing is finite, but it's readily available to get a small during release of new wards, because not everyone's looking to get the small. And because when there's a bunch of smalls, you don't really feel a rush. Mediums and larges are the more heavily sought after, larges being the most. There's only 3 per ward, so, 6 per ward, so 6 times 24 wards, times the 4 districts, there's only 576 larges in the game per server. That is not a lot. That really is not a lot. It might seem like a lot, but between free companies, between player housing, it's like that's gonna be gone within a minute. It's not feasibly like possible to have that many. Like, I don't know. I've been wanting to get a large for like 2 years now. I've had the guild, but I can't do anything with it. So my solution to circumvent this, along with more wards, is to this is gonna restructure how housing works, to be honest, but give it the Animal Crossing style system, where if you have a small, you pay the extra gil, you can upgrade that small, that plot, into a medium. Pay more gil, you make that medium into a large. That is a very simple solution. I don't know how feasible it is in an MMO compared to like something like Animal Crossing where it's programmed in already, but it would honestly save a lot of time and a lot of headaches. Yes, having a large doesn't feel as exclusive, but it shouldn't be to the point where people can't get them for years. In my opinion, that's kind of stupid. I get if you can't get them for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, you have the gil, but it's like, I have almost 400 mil. I have nothing to spend it on. There's nothing in the game besides housing that I want to spend it on, and because I don't have a large, I'm not using my gil sync. I don't have anywhere to spend my money, and that sucks, right? 50 mil for the large, cool. I want to decorate it. That's gonna be gil syncs too. That's gonna refresh the economy, and I can't do that if I don't have any larges available. And I'm not the only player with this problem. There's a bunch of players having a bunch of gil just holding out because, like, what can we do? Nothing. We can't spend our gil on anything. That really does suck. I know it's a big, like, well, you're just rich, it doesn't matter. But it's like, we can't do nothing with our gil besides buy what's on the market board, and half the time we already have everything we need. I have nothing I can spend my money on, and yeah. So, besides that, I really do hope that they do decide to do something with that. There is a third option where you can, like, transfer your personal plot into another personal plot. That's kind of it. Like, so let's say you are in you're in the Mist, Ward 1, Plot 3, and you see that Ward 4, Plot 2 was available. You can just go to that plot card, click transfer, you just move your house, that's it. You keep the exterior design. The interior design goes into storage, so you have to redecorate everything. I think minus like the summoning bell maybe, and the Aether Net crystal, which would be outside your house still. And yeah, I mean that's kind of it. If you're a free company, you do get the private chambers, which is still really cool. The company workshop is really amazing. I know it's not super done anymore, but having the free company airship is really cool. Honestly, it's like extra retainers. And for the private housing, all you have is a house. That's kind of it. You can get a couple tenants, so you can actually invite friends to your house. So you can have 30 people teleport to your house whenever they want. They have permissions to access like your retainers, not your retainers personally, but like their retainers in your house, and changing hairstyles and all that stuff if you have the bells. Yeah, I don't know. I think housing has its own issues. I don't know the biggest solution for getting new player housing. I do like the fact that it's like first come first serve. I feel like that is a nice way to do it, because I feel like the lottery system can have a lot of issues. The fact that, like, well, instead of like one person just running to the plot, now 10 people are going to go outside the plot card, click on it, click I don't know, apply or something, and then they have to wait for a timer to get the house. Who knows how long that's going to take, right? And like, what's the cap? Is it 10 people, 100 people? Is there going to be like thousands of people trying to get a large because of the whole like lottery system? I don't know. That just doesn't seem very fair, because then like one person gets it and then the other people waited to get that house and now probably don't even have a house at all. Like at all. That really sucks. I don't know what they'll do. The one thing that I do want to quickly bring up without making this video 50 minutes is Elder Scrolls Online. They do have player housing. It is a solo instance area, meaning that it's only you. There's no ward. It's just literally you in the house. I think that people can visit it. I don't fully know. I don't have that info. But I don't like that concept of like, this is like everyone will get a house in that system. Everyone can get a house no matter what. The only downside is that you're in your own map. It doesn't feel as like inclusive in a community type of setting. Like wards, there's 29 other players or free companies or whatever, a mixture in the same map. And like I like being AFK by my house, or just, you know, doing crafting or something by my house and seeing people run by in a map, knowing that they're my neighbors. It's a really small thing, but it's a good wholesome feeling that I don't feel like we get as much anymore. And that's kind of it. I mean, I hope that they do something, and my solution is simple: just add more wards, add some kind of change to larges, because again, that's a big issue in itself. Hopefully the gardening area becomes accessible in Endwalker. If not, maybe add an option for apartments, or a location in Gridania where it's like, oh, you can plant some flowers here. And then I really hope they do something with the lottery system that isn't kind of BS, because again, my concern is that if I'm trying to get a large and then half the wards are restricted to a lottery system, there's more people going to be fighting for that free-for-all system. And then that means the lottery system is going to get overcapacitated, and it's like, well, how many people are going to be attempting to get this large? And it's insane that I have to now waste my time to hopefully get this large while the mediums are being eaten up or something, right? It's weird. It's really weird, and I don't personally like that dynamic. I know this would be the more fair system, but it also doesn't feel as fair for the large and the medium plot, because again, you're trading off one hopeful thing for losing another. And that's just my 2 cents. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. I know it's a little bit of a longer video, but this is a pretty important topic. So thank you guys for watching. Take care, stay safe, and see you guys next time.